Hi, welcome back to our 90 Day Sisters series. This is going to be episode 2. I'm Devonna.
Hi, I'm Shanyce.
So today we are going to just answer questions that we got from the last video. So thank you for those that asked. And the first question that we got was asking what are the different kinds of visas that you can use when you have an international fiance, because we both mentioned that we were thinking about doing the K1 visa. So do you want to talk a little bit about that one, what it is?
Yeah. Okay, so the K1 visa is the fiance visa. So that is the visa that like everybody sees on 90 Day Fiance. So that is the one where you apply for your partner to come to the States. And once they come, you have 90 days to get married. That's the visa that takes, I don't know, between like 6 months to a year, depending on different factors. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And if people have more questions about that, you can ask. We can see what we can answer. We are not by any means professionals or immigration lawyers, anything like that. This is just based on what we know, what we've observed, what we've read as we've done our own research, things like that. So the second visa is the spousal visa, and that is where you are already married to your fiance, well, probably your husband now. You've married them maybe in their home country or something, and then you are looking to bring them back to the U.S. with you. Now, when I called the lawyer to ask about that option for myself, he told me it would take about a year to 18 months. So these timelines all depend on the case. And the specifics of the individuals. I mean, like if someone has a criminal history or something like that, then things could significantly, I guess the timeline could be significantly longer, but that is just like a general ballpark for what that is. The biggest difference between those is the cost. So which one's cheaper?
The spousal is cheaper.
Yes. So, and that's strictly for the application fee.
Mm-hmm.
That does not include lawyer fees. So that one is cheaper. One of the benefits as far as like a fiance visa is that timeline is just so much quicker. So if you guys are really looking just to be together sooner, then that might be the best option.
Mm-hmm.
The spousal visa, one of the big perks there is that when your spouse enters the U.S. with you, they are able to do a lot more. There are a lot of restrictions when you do the fiance visa. So what are some things that your fiance couldn't do when they come to the U.S.?
So I know one of the big ones are usually they can't work right off the bat. They have to apply for a work visa as well, and that usually takes the same amount of time, like 90 days, maybe a little more, of them getting here to get that. So most of the time they can't work right off the bat when they get here. Also, you can't travel until like you get after you've married and like you get your paperwork or whatever. You can't really travel outside of the States. So
yeah, so you have to apply for your green card, and then you can apply for like your worker's permit, travel permit, and sometimes that comes before you get your green card, and then you can use that paperwork, but not always. So I guess if you're ready to like hit the ground of America running, the spousal visa might be a better option. But again, that long wait time until you guys are together is something that some people aren't interested in.
Yeah. The next question that we got asked was, how do we know that our partner was the one? So I'm going to answer this first. And how I knew, I think, was just how we dealt with long distance. I've had some situationships, and I think just seeing the way those were versus this relationship that I'm in right now, I definitely think it showed me how compatible we are together, dealing with being long distance, how well we work together. I think just me being willing to even do this long distance relationship with him, I think that definitely showed me or gave me an inkling that, okay, this is somebody I want to be with for the rest of my life. And I think, just like the way our relationship is, just definitely showed me that, okay, this is somebody I love and he loves me, and he is like the person I want to be with forever. So I think that's my answer for that.
So I'm gonna throw a wrench in this plan real quick because I just thought of a question. So my question is for you, because I started my long distance relationship before you did.
Mm-hmm.
did that influence? Did it make you nervous? Because Shanyce and I are really good friends, right? So if anyone knew, like,
She admitted it. I'm just saying.
I didn't say best, I said really good. Thank you. So if anyone knew a lot of details about like what I was going through and what was happening, it would have been her. So based on what you were hearing from me and seeing, even though I was, in Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that play a role in how you thought about your relationship? Was it like, oh God, this is intimidating, this is not something I'm trying to do? Was it like, oh, this could be an adventure? Like, did that have any effect or any influence on your thoughts?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess maybe like me not realizing, maybe it did. Maybe it did. I don't know, like thinking back, maybe I was like, okay, if my sister could do it, I could do it. Maybe, but maybe I just didn't realize right then and there. But I think it definitely probably maybe more open to the idea of like doing a long distance relationship. We're gonna say yes.
All right, just curious. That's something maybe we can expand upon later. But okay, so my answer as far as the one, so my answer is probably not very traditional, and probably people won't agree, because I think some people, like, we grew up with a very romanticized view of love and the one, the one. And, some people believe there's one person, some people believe there's many, soulmates, all that stuff. And I would have said at one point that I was a person that was like, it's the one, it's a soulmate, it's like when you know, that kind of thing. After now, this is both of our officially first boyfriends, right? Like we both talked to people, and dated, but never became anything official with them. So this is our first official relationship. And I think we've learned a lot from those. And in my personal experience, there was, with most of those individuals, there was, interest was one-sided, or even if it was mutual interest, there was always a point, usually on the other person's side in my situation, in which that person was not willing to do what it took to take to the next step with me. So then the relationships ended. So I think with my fiance now, the fact that we hit that point and we're like, man, this has been hard. Like, this has been very hard. But that we didn't run away from that. And we were like, all right, well, what can you do? What can I do? Let's learn one another. Let's work with one another. How do I adjust this? That's something I haven't had before. And so I think, even though he might not check all the boxes, or he may not check as many boxes as someone else did, there was just never that effort from anyone else other than him. And that means so much to any relationship. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes to keep it together, to make it work, to grow, to move forward, to learn and advance everything. So that's definitely what I would say. It took me a while to get to that point, without a doubt. And he would tell you he knew right away. I think her fiance would say the same thing too. Like, they just, that moment that we all dream of and think of. And I think that is more common for men than women. But it was like an interest that grew to that grew to love. It was a process, I think, for both of us. And also because it was very intimidating. She knew he was going to go back home eventually. I knew I was going to go back home eventually. I don't think, do you know anyone prior to this, like in person, that was in a long distance international relationship?
Nope.
I don't think I knew anyone either. So, I mean, it was very intimidating. This is very scary. And I don't think we were watching the show at this point. Yeah, I was definitely watching the show at this point.
Yeah, we were watching it.
But this was not something, I don't know. This was not something that we foresaw necessarily ourselves getting into. Like I said, I could have seen it just because of who the people I have liked in the past being, from other places, things like that. But as far as it, like, actually ever happening, this is something else.
Yes.
So hopefully that answers the questions. And for the individual that asked, I think it really is going to be an individual based on your dating experience, relationships, or lack thereof, and then your willingness to, I don't know, trust the process, put in the work, the other individual's willingness to do that, and just what clicks for you and what doesn't. And I don't think a click, I think some people it's a snap click, and some people it's kind of like, cranking it into place. So don't rush it.
Yeah.
Feel it. Take your time. But that's all we've got for this week. So hopefully we answered your questions and got your brains thinking. Please ask more questions, subscribe, like. All of our social media information is going to be below. We really like to answer these questions. I think that's helpful with content-wise. Like, we have some of our own ideas. We really want to go with what you guys want to hear.
For sure.
So that's 90 Day Sisters, episode 2. Yay. Catch us next week.